Why should we be realistic when whatever backstory you believe about human creationism concludes that our existence is so magical, so wild, so crazy?
One look and I breathe.
Hello everyone and welcome back. It's Deirdre here and we're here with another video about delusion, about being delusional, because you should be, and if you're not, why? As usual, we're starting with our quote of the day by Christopher Reeves. He says, "So many of our dreams at first seem impossible. Then they seem improbable. And then when we summon the will, they soon become inevitable." Isn't that true? Like, dreaming is making the impossible possible. To be quite honest, things that you thought you could never do, making them come to fruition. And I remember that trend on social media. It was like, be delusional. That girl's sound. That girl's sound.
About this
and
whole
in
be
my mind, I'm always
realistic.
like, what
My
is
key
wrong
to
with
life,
being
the reason
delusional?
why I be having
There's
so much
nothing wrong
fun
with being
is
delusional.
I'm
When
delusional
you're
as
delusional,
fuck.
and in my mind, I'm always like, what is wrong with being delusional? There's nothing wrong with being delusional. When your delusions are backed by a personal belief that you can achieve something, then what's the problem? Since when did believing you could achieve your wildest dreams become delusional? If it's not hurting anyone, then you should be delusional. Then you need to be delusional. You absolutely need to be envisioning a future where you're living out your wildest passions, dreams, desires, and experiences, and then attaching that to your current reality. Delusion is a belief in something that is not true, or something that a person wants to be true. And I think people have this like, oh, you're delusional, you're crazy mentality. But no, that is actually the process of manifestation. What you believe will truly become a reflection of your life. I had this girl at my job one time talk about how, oh, all men are cheaters. Like, that's just what you have to expect and deal with in a relationship. I said, no, you believe all men are cheaters. So you will likely continue to attract and entertain men that are cheaters. I, on the other hand, do not believe that. So I will not entertain that. Now, this is not me being high and mighty saying that I am above attracting a man who could cheat on me. No, I'm going to attract good and bad men. But what I choose to continue to accept is what really matters. Because if I believe that I deserve to be with a good, amazing person who doesn't cheat, who's loyal, who's all these things, then I won't deal with anything less than that. I've done a lot of analysis of manifestation, and I think I'm kind of coming to an epiphany that it's not only about believing something in order to achieve it, it's also about acting on that. It's also about saying, okay, this thing came into my life, because I can attract any and everything, but what will I choose to entertain? What will I choose to accept is also a form of what my belief is. Me saying I believe that I deserve to be with a good man, and then being with somebody who is not, means that that's not my actual belief. It's what I want my belief to be. But until I act on that thing, that belief does not change. It's not simply about attracting the things that you want, but also declining and redirecting the things that come that you don't want. So back to the point about being delusional. Whenever I would see that trend and I would see be delusional and people would be bashing it and saying like, no, be realistic, I was like, why? Why, y'all? Why do we care what those other people think? You have to remove everyone else from your view, from your decision making, from your dreams. If any area of your life to be selfish with, it's that. That doesn't mean shit on everybody else. That doesn't mean run other people over, but be selfish in what you choose to do with your life and how you choose to live it. No one else has to see the vision but you. It doesn't matter what your goal is, if there even is a goal, or what the reason is. If you feel that it's right, if you feel that it's purposeful, as long as it makes sense to you, then do it. More often than not, people's disbelief in your abilities and your ability to achieve something is due to their own lack of ability to believe in themselves, or even of what they've seen you do thus far. And so they can't see a version of you that could do this, that could achieve that, that could be that. At the end of the day, other people's opinions of you have nothing to do with you. At any moment in your life, regardless of how old or young you are, you can choose to change. You can choose to be a different person. You can choose to do different things, regardless of who you've been in the past. And yes, sometimes that can be motivation. That disbelief that other people have in you can motivate you even more to achieve that thing, to prove them wrong. But if you find that no one around you believes in you or is on your side, then you may want to reevaluate. the people that you're surrounding yourself with. Because as someone who has friends and family who truly believes in all the things that I can do and pushes me forward and is always like supporting me, that is more of a motivator than the haters. That is more of a motivator for me, and a positive motivator that doesn't have to do with me proving my worth and value based on me achieving something. You may say being delusional is a little bit unrealistic, but I'm going to be honest, I've never been great at realism. I've never been great at being realistic. I think I've almost always had a hopeful and optimistic spirit when it comes to my future, when it comes to the world around me, regardless of its current circumstances. Because honestly, why should we be realistic? Like, let's take a look at the world that exists before us, before we get realistic. Why should I be realistic when people are making six-figure salaries off of sharing videos of their pretty dog? Why should I be realistic when at one point we know that everything that exists in society, all the systems and standards were created by someone just like you and me? Why should we be realistic when whatever backstory you believe about human creationism concludes that our existence is so magical, so wild, so crazy? My dad used to always say, think as big as you can, go to the highest lengths, go as far as you can dream. Imagine what you want to do in this life and write it down. Draw it out. Don't worry about how you're getting there yet. Don't let the impossibility of what it would take along the way stop you from thinking and dreaming as big as you can. When you're creating the vision, don't worry about any of that. And then he'd say, and after you do that, we can work backwards from there. Best freaking advice of my life. Best freaking words that literally exemplify how I choose to pursue my passions, pursue my dreams, pursue my career. And this is why it's so important to have those people around you that value you for simply existing. There is so much freedom in pursuing your dreams when you already have parents or loved ones who are proud of you before you achieve something, who are proud of you just simply for who you are and who you show up as a human being. So that accomplishment doesn't have to become a badge of honor. That accomplishment isn't attached to your worth or value. It simply becomes something that you are pursuing for the experience, for the joy, for the purposeful passion that you have without any constraints. And that's how you find yourself actually doing the things that bring you happiness in life. And this brings me to knowing your worth and value first, inside yourself. Let's be honest, y'all, you can have all the talent in the world and be a homeless person sitting on the side of the street. Initially in life, your circumstances, your finances, and your beliefs that you've grown up with will determine what area of the social and class hierarchical system that we have here that you will reside in. We can talk about how fair or not fair that is, but at this point we know that. Is it rigged? Probably. Can you change your view of that? Can that change as a whole? Also, yes. What we have right now is a society that categorizes and values people based on money, class, and race. One that tries to link your value and worth with the characteristics that you were born with and what you have in life. And that belief is the one that needs to change. That in itself will stop you from even starting to think big. You're not even getting to that action because you don't even feel like you should even be thinking big. Don't think that every small change doesn't lead to transformation. And I may be getting out of my depths here, but I personally think that once everyone else starts to think bigger, starts to think outside of money, class, and race, we will see immense changes in this world. And that's why your personal belief matters first. Because when you have passions and goals and desires that you want to pursue, you need to believe in the value that you are bringing before anyone else believes it. Because if you don't believe it, then why should they? When you know that you are worthy and you hold yourself to high standards and values that don't align with anything but your existence as a human being, then you wouldn't question your ability to make your dreams come true. You wouldn't question that you deserve to have more than enough money to live comfortably. You wouldn't question that you deserve to live a good life in general. And when you start seeing yourself that way, you start believing that everyone else deserves that too. And I want to bring it to this video that I went viral on TikTok about. And it was me claiming that I don't rank the monetary value that men bring in a relationship that high on my list of standards. Not saying that it wasn't a factor at all, but in further discussing this, it's hard to have a conversation about breaking down our belief systems and how we attach value to people and how we attach value to people's money, to what they're bringing solely monetarily. And we can't have this conversation without including men. We can't have this conversation without realizing how many people want a rich man, regardless of if it's what you actually go for or not. But many people have the mentality that richness can overpower richness in somebody's heart. You know, that sounded so sappy, but let's be honest, y'all. Capitalism ruins most relationships. Finances are the biggest factor in people's divorce. And I'm not saying that it's not going to cause arguments. People, you want to align with a person and their spending habits and how you value things, but that's the point in itself. The way our world works praises men for their monetary contributions. This isn't a societal standard recognition. This is maybe not on an individual level, because honestly, I think social media dating standards are not real life. Y'all be saying that shit, but you don't be living by it. And that's actually great, because most of them suck. Most of y'all are spewing shit from your ass. Not to get crazy, but true love is overpowered by capitalism, patriarchy, and so many other things in this world. People don't get to experience that simply because of those things, because the values that are placed on that. And people coming at me for saying that maybe you shouldn't highly value money as much in your relationship. Why are you coming for me? Because I'm going to sit here and talk about how your value and worth has nothing to do with the money that you bring to the table. Yes, it matters in the grand scheme of things, but you should never be attaching your worth to that. And I'm going to stand by that. So I'm going to pause that conversation there. Maybe we could talk about it more in another video. But I really want to end with, there's no difference in who you are now and who you want to be, except a little patience, a little bit of action, and an undeniable belief in yourself. You have to try to live in that place where you want to be as much as possible and be grateful for that. And what you're envisioning, what you're seeing in your mind is being created through the way you think and act every single day. And we're going to end it on that note, y'all. Mark today as the day that you start or you continue being confident in your delusions, because being delusional is the only way you can create the best things in life, create the most wonderful experiences, create the most happiness. You see it in so many people around you. You just got to believe. That sounded so Disney coded. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please give it a like and subscribe to stay tuned for more discussions and conversations about topics like these, how we get to the next step in our life, how we get to the next level. Next week, we'll be talking about focus, which is so important when it comes to these things, because we can dream big, and focus is so important when it comes to trying to do anything in life. And we have so many distractions. And on the conspiracy side of that, I think that is the point. There are agendas that exist, I think, and lack of focus will definitely stop people from doing the things that they love, creating change in this world. So, focus is on the agenda for next week. Sorry you have to watch my cat clean himself right now. Ninja. So yeah, we'll be talking about focus next week. So I hope you tune in. If you want to know when that comes out, turn on those post notifications. Well, it's coming out next Sunday, but if you want to be reminded, then you can turn those on. And yeah, please comment down below anything else you want to talk about, even outside the realm of like dream life motivation, just deep conversations. I like to break down, really dive into the curiosity of life. Like, that's my favorite thing to do. So let me know. Leave me a comment, and wherever you're at, whatever time it is, good morning, good evening, good night. I love ya, and goodbye.